The cat, or domestic cat, house cat, is a small carnivorous mammal. It is valued by humans for its companionship and its ability to destroy vermin, and has been associated with humans for at least 9,500 years. A skilled predator, the cat is known to hunt over 1,000 species for food. The cat is intelligent and can be trained to obey simple commands. Individual cats have also been known to learn to manipulate simple mechanisms. See cat intelligence. Cats use a variety of vocalizations and types of body language for communication, including mewing, meow or meow, purring, hissing, growling, squeaking, chirping, clicking, and grunting. Contents. 1. Anatomy and morphology. 1.1 Ears. 1.2 Legs. 1.3 Senses. 2. Physiology. 2.1 Metabolism. 3. Ecology and life history. 3.1 Behavior. 3.1.1 Communication. 3.1.2 Social behavior. 3.1.3 Fondness for heights. 3.1.4 Play. 3.2 Ecology. 3.2.1 Feeding ecology. 3.2.2 Toxic sensitivity. 3.3 Habitat. 3.4 Life history. 3.4.1 Reproduction. 3.4.2 Genetics. 4. Etymology and taxonomic history. 4.1 Scientific classification. 4.2 Nomenclature. 5. Importance to humans. 5.1 Cats as pets. 5.1.1 Hygiene. 5.1.2 Scratching. 5.1.2.1 Declawing. 5.2 Domestication. 5.3 Domesticated varieties. 5.3.1 Coat patterns. 5.3.2 Body types. 5.4 Feral cats. 5.4.1 Environmental interaction. 5.5 History and mythology. 6. See also. 7. References. 8. External links. 8.1 Medical issues. 8.2 Miscellaneous. Section 1. Anatomy and morphology. Cats typically weigh between 2.5 and 7 kilograms, 5.5 to 16 pounds. However, some breeds, such as the Maine Coon, can exceed 11.3 kilograms, 25 pounds. Some have been known to reach up to 23 kilograms, 50 pounds, due to overfeeding. Conversely, very small cats, less than 1.8 kilograms or 4 pounds, have been reported. An image captioned "Diagram of the General Anatomy of a Cat" is provided here. Cats also possess rather loose skin. This enables them to turn and confront a predator or another cat in a fight, even when it has a grip on them. This is also an advantage for veterinary purposes, as it simplifies injections. In fact, the life of cats with kidney failure can sometimes be extended for years by the regular injection of large volumes of fluid subcutaneously, which serves as an alternative to dialysis. The particularly loose skin at the back of the neck is known as the scruff, and is the area by which a mother cat grips her kittens to carry them. As a result, cats have a tendency to relax and become quiet and passive when gripped there. This tendency often extends into adulthood and can be useful when attempting to treat or move an uncooperative cat. However, since an adult cat is quite a bit heavier than a kitten, a pet cat should never be carried by the scruff, but should instead have their weight supported at the rump and hind legs, and also at the chest and front paws. Often, much like a small child, a cat will lie with its head and front paws over a person's shoulder and its back legs and rump supported under the person's arm. Like almost all mammals, cats possess 7 cervical vertebrae. They have 13 thoracic vertebrae, compared to 12 in humans, 7 lumbar vertebrae, compared to 5 in humans, 3 sacral vertebrae, like most mammals. Humans have 5 because of their bipedal posture, and 22 or 23 caudal vertebrae. Humans have 3 to 5, fused into an internal coccyx. The extra lumbar and thoracic vertebrae account for the cat's enhanced spinal mobility and flexibility compared to humans. The caudal vertebrae form the tail, used by the cat for counterbalance to the body during quick movements. An image captioned, "A cat yawning showing characteristic canine teeth," is provided here. Note, this image has an uncertain copyright status and is pending deletion. You can comment on the removal. Cats have highly specialized teeth and a digestive tract suitable to the digestion of meat. The premolar and first molar together compose the carnassial pair on each side of the mouth, which efficiently functions to shear meat like a pair of scissors. While this is present in canines, it is highly developed in felines. The cat's tongue has sharp spines, or papillae, useful for retaining and ripping flesh from a carcass. These papillae are small backward-facing hooks that contain keratin and assist in their grooming. 1.1 Ears. 62 individual muscles in the ear allow for a manner of directional hearing. The cat can move each ear independently of the other. Because of this mobility, a cat can move its body in one direction and point its ears in another direction. Most cats have straight ears pointing upward. Unlike dogs, flap-eared breeds are extremely rare. Scottish folds are one such exceptional genetic mutation. When angry or frightened, a cat will lay its ears back to accompany the growling or hissing sounds it makes. Cats will also turn their ears back when they are playing or occasionally to show interest in a sound coming from behind them. 1.2 Legs. An image captioned, "A cat jumping," is provided here. Cats, like dogs, are digitigrades. They walk directly on their toes, the bones of their feet making up the lower part of the visible leg. Cats are capable of walking very precisely because, like all felines, they directly register. That is, they place each hind paw almost directly in the print of the corresponding forepaw, minimizing noise and visible tracks. This also provides sure footing for their hind paws when they navigate rough terrain. Unlike dogs and most mammals, cats walk by moving both legs on one side and then both legs on the other. Most mammals move legs on alternate sides in sequence. Cats share this unusual gait with camels, giraffes, some horses, pacers, and a select few other mammals. There is no known connection between these animals which might explain this. Like all members of family Felidae except the cheetah, cats have retractable claws. In their normal, relaxed position, the claws are sheathed with the skin and fur around the toe pads. This keeps the claws sharp by preventing wear from contact with the ground and allows the silent stalking of prey. The claws on the forefeet are typically sharper than those on the hind feet. Cats can extend their claws voluntarily on one or more paws at will. Cats may extend their claws in hunting or self-defense, climbing, kneading, or for extra traction on soft surfaces, bedspreads, thick rugs, etc. It is also possible to make a cooperative cat extend its claws by carefully pressing both the top and bottom of the paw. The curved claws may become entangled in carpets or thick fabric, which may cause injury if the cat is unable to free itself. Most cats have 5 claws at their front paws and 4 or 5 at their rear paws. Because of an ancient mutation, however, domestic cats are prone to polydactyly. and may have 6 or 7 toes. The 5th front claw, the dew claw, is in a more proximal position than those of the other claws. More proximally, there is a protrusion which appears to be a 6th finger. The special feature of the front paws on the inside of the wrists is the carpal pad, also found in the paws of big cats and dogs. It has no function in normal walking, but is thought to be an anti-skidding device used while jumping. 1.3. Senses. An image captioned "A side face shot of a cat" is provided here. A link to main article "Cat Senses" is provided here. Cat senses are attuned for hunting. Cats have highly advanced hearing, eyesight, taste, and touch receptors, making the cat extremely sensitive among mammals. Cats' night vision is superior to humans, although their vision in daylight is inferior. Humans and cats have a similar range of hearing on the low end of the scale, but cats can hear much higher-pitched sounds, up to 64 kilohertz, which is 1.6 octaves above the range of a human, and even 1 octave above the range of a dog. A domestic cat's sense of smell is about 14 times as strong as a human's. To aid with navigation and sensation, cats have dozens of movable vibrissae, whiskers, over their body, especially their face. Due to a mutation in an early cat ancestor, one of 2 genes necessary to taste sweetness has been lost by the cat family. Section 2. Physiology. 2.1. Metabolism. An image captioned "A cat sleeping curled into a tight ball to conserve body heat" is provided here. Cats conserve energy by sleeping more than most animals, especially as they grow older. Daily durations of sleep vary, usually 12 to 16 hours, with 13 to 14 being the average. Some cats can sleep as much as 20 hours in a 24-hour period. The term catnap refers to the cat's ability to fall asleep lightly for a brief period and has entered the English lexicon. Someone who nods off for a few minutes is said to be taking a catnap. Due to their crepuscular nature, cats are often known to enter a period of increased hyperactivity and playfulness during the evening and early morning, dubbed the evening crazies, night crazies, elevenses, or mad half-hour by some. The temperament of a cat can vary depending on the breed and socialization. Cats with oriental body types tend to be thinner and more active, while cats that have a cobby body type tend to be heavier and less active. The normal body temperature of a cat is between 38 and 39 degrees Celsius, 100 and 102.2 Fahrenheit. A cat is considered febrile, hyperthermic, if it has a temperature of 39.5 Celsius, 103 degrees Fahrenheit, or greater, or hypothermic if less than 37.5 degrees centigrade, 100 Fahrenheit. For comparison, humans have a normal temperature of approximately 36.8 centigrade, 98.2 degrees Fahrenheit. A domestic cat's normal heart rate ranges from 140 to 220 beats per minute and is largely dependent on how excited the cat is. For a cat at rest, the average heart rate should be between 150 and 180 beats per minute, about twice that of a human. Section 3. Ecology and Life History. 3.1. Behavior. A link to main article, Cat Behavior, is provided here. 3.1.1. Communication. A link to main article, Cat Communication, is provided here. 3.1.2. Social Behavior. Many people characterize cats as solitary animals. However, cats are actually highly social. A primary difference in social behavior between cats and dogs, to which they are often compared, is that cats do not have a social survival strategy or a pack mentality. However, this only means that cats take care of their basic needs on their own, e.g., finding food, defending themselves, etc. It is not the same thing as being asocial. Perhaps the best example of how domestic cats are naturally meant to behave is to observe feral domestic cats, which often live in colonies, but in which each individual basically looks after itself. Living with humans is a symbiotic social adaptation which has developed over thousands of years. The sort of social relationship cats have with their human keepers is hard to map onto more generalized wildcat behavior, but it is certain that the cat thinks of the human differently than it does other cats, i.e., it does not think of itself as human, nor that the human is a cat. This can be seen in the difference in body and vocal language it uses with the human, when compared to how it communicates with other cats in the household, for example. Some have suggested that, psychologically, the human keeper of a cat is a sort of surrogate for the cat's mother, and that adult domestic cats live forever in a kind of suspended kittenhood. 3.1.3 Fondness for heights. An image captioned "A domestic cat standing on the branch of a tree" is provided here. Most breeds of cat have a noted fondness for settling in high places, or perching. Animal behaviorists have posited a number of explanations, the most common being that height gives the cat a better observation point, allowing it to survey its territory and become aware of activities of people and other pets in the area. In the wild, a higher place may serve as a concealed site from which to hunt. Domestic cats are known to strike prey by pouncing from such a perch as a tree branch, as does a leopard. Height, therefore, can also give cats a sense of security and prestige. This fondness for high spaces, however, can dangerously test the popular axiom that a cat always lands on its feet. The American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals warns owners to safeguard the more dangerous perches in their homes to avoid high-rise syndrome, where an overconfident cat falls from an extreme height. During a fall, a cat can reflexively twist its body and right itself using its acute sense of balance and flexibility. This is known as the cat's righting reflex. It always rights itself in the same way, provided it has the time to do so during a fall. The height required for this to occur in most cats, safely, is around 3 feet, 90 centimeters. To achieve this, cats probably relax their ventral muscles, flattening their bodies to some extent and creating more resistance to air. Cats without a tail also have this ability, since a cat mostly moves its hind legs and relies on conservation of angular momentum to set up for landing, and the tail is in fact little used for this feat. 3.1.4 Play. Domestic cats, especially young kittens, are known for their love of string play. Many cats cannot resist a dangling piece of string or a piece of rope drawn randomly and enticingly across the floor. This well-known love of string is often depicted in cartoons and photographs, which show kittens or cats playing with balls of yarn. It is probably related to hunting instincts, including the common practice of kittens hunting their mothers' and each other's tails. If string is ingested, however, it can become caught in the cat's stomach or intestines, causing illness, or in extreme cases, death. Due to possible complications caused by ingesting a string play is sometimes replaced with a laser pointer's dot, which some cats will chase. Some also discourage the use of laser pointers for pet play, however, because of the potential damage to sensitive eyes and/or the possible loss of satisfaction associated with the successful capture of an actual prey object, play or real. Citation needed. 3.2 Ecology. 3.2.1 Feeding ecology. Cats are highly specialized for hunting compared to other mammals such as dogs. Citation needed. This is now thought to be the indirect result of cats' inability to taste sugars, thereby reducing their intake of plant foods. Since they have a greatly reduced need to digest plants, their digestive tract has evolved to be shorter, too short for effective digestion of plants, but less of a weighty penalty for the rapid movement required for hunting. Hunting has likewise become central to their behavior patterns, even to their predilection for short bursts of intense exercise punctuating long periods of rest. Much like the big cats, domestic cats are very effective predators. They ambush and immobilize vertebrate prey using tactics similar to those of leopards and tigers by pouncing. Then they deliver a lethal neck bite with their long canine teeth that severs the victim's spinal cord, causes fatal bleeding by puncturing the carotid artery or the jugular vein, or asphyxiates it by crushing its trachea. The domestic cat can hunt and eat about 1,000 species, many of them invertebrates, especially insects. Many big cats will eat fewer than 100 different species, although, theoretically, big cats can kill most of these species as well. They often do not due to the relatively low nutritional content that smaller animals provide for the effort. An exception is the leopard, which commonly hunts rabbits and many other smaller animals. Even well-fed domestic cats hunt and kill birds, mice, rats, scorpions, cockroaches, grasshoppers, and other small animals in the vicinity. They often present such trophies to their owner. The motivation is not entirely clear, but friendly bonding behaviors are often associated with such an action. It is probable that cats in this situation expect to be praised for their symbolic contribution to the group. Some theories suggest that cats see their owners gone for long times of the day and assume they are out hunting, as they always have plenty of food available. It is thought that a cat presenting its owner with a dead animal thinks it's helping out by bringing home the kill. Citation needed. Ethologist Paul Leyhausen, in an extensive study of social and predatory behavior in domestic cats, documented in his book, Cat Behavior, proposed a mechanism which explains this presenting behavior. In simple terms, cats adopt humans into their social group and share excess kill with others in the group according to the local pecking order, in which humans place at or near the top. Another possibility is that presenting the kill might be a relic of kitten-feline behavior of demonstrating for its mother's approval that it has developed the necessary skill for hunting. Due to their hunting behavior, in many countries, feral cats are considered pests. Domestic cats are occasionally also required to have contained cat runs or to be kept inside entirely, as they can be hazardous to locally endangered bird species. For instance, various municipalities in Australia have enacted such legislation. In some localities, owners fit their cat with a bell in order to warn prey of its approach. On the other hand, the cat may figure out how and when the bell works and learn to move more carefully to avoid ringing it. Domesticated cats eat fairly little vegetable matter. It is quite common, however, for cats to occasionally supplement their carnivorous diets with small amounts of grass or other plant matter to help their digestive tract, whereas bears and dogs commonly supplement their diet of meat with fruits, berries, roots, and honey when they can get them. Cats prefer to mostly feed on meat. All felines, including the big cats, have a genetic anomaly that prevents them from tasting sweetness, which, more than likely, is related to their meat-dominated eating habits, and almost certainly related to their aversion to fruits and berries. However, many domesticated cats are known to like vegetables. The majority of brand-name cat foods are primarily meat-based, but often contain large amounts of corn or rice, supplemented with meat byproducts and minerals and vitamins. Cats are also known to munch on grass, leaves, shrubs, and houseplants to facilitate regurgitation of whatever may be upsetting their digestion, or perhaps to introduce fiber or trace minerals to the diet. Cats are obligate carnivores and cannot live on an unsupplemented vegetarian diet because they cannot synthesize several required nutrients which are absent or rare in plant food. This applies mainly to taurine, vitamin A. Cats cannot convert the provitamin A that is abundant in plants to vitamin A proper, and certain fatty acids. The absence of taurine causes the cat's retina to slowly degenerate, causing eye problems and eventually irreversible blindness, a condition called macular degeneration. Cow's milk is a poor source of taurine, and adult cats are generally lactose intolerant. Lactose-free milk is perfectly safe, but still not a substitute for meat. Some houseplants are harmful to cats. The leaves of the Easter lily can cause permanent and life-threatening kidney damage to cats. Philodendron are also poisonous to cats. Cat Fancy has a full list of plants harmful to cats. Some cats have a fondness for catnip. While they generally do not consume it, they will often roll in it, paw at it, and occasionally chew on it, as catnip is sensed by the cat's vomeronasal organ. The effect is usually relatively short, lasting only for a few minutes. After 2 hours or less, susceptible cats gain interest again. Several other species of plants cause this effect to a lesser degree. Cats can be fussy eaters, possibly due to the mutation which caused their ancestor to lose the ability to taste sugars. Unlike most mammals, cats can voluntarily starve themselves indefinitely despite being presented with palatable food, even a food which they had previously readily consumed. This can happen when the vomeronasal or Jacobson's organ becomes accustomed to a specific food, or if the cats are spoiled by their owners, in which case the cat will reject any food that does not fit the pattern it is expecting. It is also known for cats to merely become bored with their given food and decide to stop eating until they are tempted into eating again. Although it is extremely rare for a cat to deliberately starve itself to the point of injury, the sudden loss of weight can cause a fatal condition called hepatic lipidosis, a liver dysfunction which causes pathological loss of appetite and reinforces the starvation, which can lead to death within as little as 48 hours. Additionally, cats have been known to develop a fondness for prepared human foods, normally preparations which are rich in proteins or fats. However, a diet consisting only of human food, even if high-quality meat, is unlikely to contain the balanced nutrition required by the cat. Cats normally are good self-regulators of diet. However, unlimited access to food or excessive human food treats will often lead to the cat becoming obese, particularly if it is older or more sedentary. This may lead to several health complications, such as diabetes, especially in neutered males. Such health conditions can be prevented through diet and exercise, playing, especially for cats living exclusively indoors. Cats can also develop pica. Pica is a condition in which animals chew or eat unusual things such as fabric, plastic, or wool. In cats, this is mostly harmless as they do not digest most of it, but can be fatal or require surgical removal if a large amount of foreign material is ingested, for example, an entire sock. It tends to occur more often in Siamese, Burmese, and breeds with these in their ancestry. 3.2.2 Toxic sensitivity. The liver of a cat is less effective at detoxification than those of other animals, including humans and dogs. Therefore, exposure to many common substances considered safe for households may be dangerous to them. In general, the cat's environment should be examined for the presence of such toxins and the problem corrected or alleviated as much as possible. In addition, where sudden or prolonged serious illness without obvious cause is observed, the possibility of toxicity must be considered, and the veterinarian informed of any such substances to which the cat may have had access. For example, the common painkiller paracetamol or acetaminophen, sold under brand names such as Tylenol and Panadol, is extremely toxic to cats because they naturally lack enzymes needed to digest it. Even minute portions of doses safe for humans can be fatal, and any suspected ingestion warrants immediate veterinary attention. Even aspirin, which is sometimes used to treat arthritis in cats, is much more toxic to them than to humans and must be administered cautiously. Similarly, applications of minoxidil, Rogaine, to the skin of cats, either accidental or by well-meaning owners attempting to counter loss of fur, has sometimes proved fatal. In addition to such obvious dangers as insecticides and weed killers, other common household substances that should be used with caution in areas where cats may be exposed to them include mothballs and other naphthalene products, as well as phenol-based products often used for cleaning and disinfecting near cats' feeding areas or litter boxes, such as Pine Sol, Dettol, Lysol, hexachlorophene, etc., which, although they are widely used without problem, have been sometimes seen to be fatal. Antifreeze is particularly appealing to cats and as little as a teaspoonful can be fatal. Many human foods are somewhat toxic to cats. Theobromine in chocolate can cause theobromine poisoning, for instance, although few cats will eat chocolate. Toxicity in cats ingesting relatively large amounts of onions or garlic has also been reported. Even such seemingly safe items as cat food packaged in pull-tab tin cans have been statistically linked to hyperthyroidism. Although the connection is far from proved, suspicion has fallen on the use of bisphenol A, another phenol-based product as discussed above, to seal such cans. As is well known, many houseplants are at least somewhat toxic to many species, cats included, and the consumption of such plants by cats is to be avoided. 3.3. Habitat. The wild cat, ancestor of the domestic cat, is believed to have evolved in a desert climate, as evident in the behavior common to both the domestic and wild forms. Wild cats are native to all continents other than Australia and Antarctica, although feral cats have become apex predators in the Australian outback, where they are menaces to wildlife. Citation needed. Their feces are usually dry, and cats prefer to bury them in sandy places. Urine is highly concentrated, which allows the cat to retain as much fluid as possible. They are also able to remain motionless for long periods, especially when observing prey and preparing to pounce. In North Africa, there are still small wildcats that are probably related closely to the ancestors of today's domesticated breeds. Cats enjoy heat and solar exposure, often sleeping in a sunny area during the heat of the day. Cats prefer warmer temperatures than humans do. People start to feel uncomfortable when their skin's temperature gets higher than about 44.5 degrees Celsius, 112 degrees Fahrenheit, but cats don't start to show signs of discomfort until their skin reaches about 52 degrees centigrade, 126 degrees Fahrenheit. Being closely related to desert animals, cats can easily withstand the heat and cold of a temperate climate, but not for extended periods. Although certain breeds, such as the Norwegian forest cat and Maine Coon, have developed heavier coats of fur than other cats, they have little resistance against moist cold, e.g., fog, rain, and snow, and struggle to maintain their 39 degrees centigrade, 102 degrees Fahrenheit, body temperature when wet. Most cats dislike immersion in water. One major exception is the Turkish Van breed, which has an unusual fondness for water. Abyssinians are also reported to be more tolerant of water than most cats. 3.4. Life History. 3.4.1. Reproduction. An image captioned 4 kittens being nursed is provided here. Cats are seasonally polyestrous, which means they may have many periods of heat over the course of a year. A heat period lasts about 4 to 7 days if the female is bred. If she is not, the heat period lasts longer. The male cat's penis has spines which point backwards. Upon withdrawal of the penis, the spines rake the walls of the female's vagina, which may cause ovulation. Because this does not always occur, females are rarely impregnated by the first male with which they mate. Furthermore, cats are superfecund. That is, a female may mate with more than one male when she is in heat, meaning different kittens in a litter may have different fathers. The reproduction process is usually very noisy, as both cats vocalize loudly. The sound of cats mating is markedly similar to those of fighting. The gestation period for cats is approximately 63 to 65 days. The size of a litter averages 3 to 5 kittens, with the first litter usually smaller than subsequent litters. Kittens are weaned between 6 and 7 weeks, and cats normally reach sexual maturity at 4 to 10 months, females, and 5 to 7 months, males. Cats are ready to go to new homes at about 12 weeks old, the recommended minimum age by Fédération Internationale Féline, or when they are ready to leave their mother. Cats can be surgically sterilized, spayed or neutered, as early as 6 to 8 weeks to limit unwanted reproduction. This surgery also prevents undesirable sex-related behavior, such as territory marking, spraying urine, in males, and yowling, calling, in females. If an animal is neutered after such behavior has been learned, however, it may persist. 3.4.2 Genetics. An image captioned, "Blue-eyed cats with white fur have a higher incidence of genetic deafness," is provided here. The domestic cat and its closest wild ancestor both possess 38 chromosomes, in which over 200 heritable genetic defects have been identified, many homologous to human inborn errors. Specific metabolic defects have been identified underlying many of these feline diseases. There are several genes responsible for the hair color identified. The combination of them gives different phenotypes. See cat coat genetics. Features like hair length, lack of tail, or presence of a very short tail, bobtail cat, are also determined by single alleles and modified by polygenes. The Cat Genome Project, sponsored by the Laboratory of Genomic Diversity at the U.S. National Cancer Institute Frederick Cancer Research and Development Center in Frederick, Maryland, focuses on the development of the cat as an animal model for human hereditary disease, infectious disease, genome evolution, comparative research initiatives within the family Felidae, and forensic potential. It is a common misconception that all white cats with blue eyes are deaf, leading to some people rejecting blue-eyed white cats as pets. This is not true, as there are many blue-eyed cats with perfect hearing. However, white cats with blue eyes do have slightly higher incidences of genetic deafness than white cats of other eye colors. Section 4. Etymology and Taxonomic History. 4.1. Scientific Classification. The domestic cat was named Felis catus by Carolus Linnaeus in his Systema Natura of 1758. Johann Christian Daniel von Schreiber named the wild cat Felis sylvestris in 1775. The domestic cat was considered a subspecies of the wild cat by the strict rule of priority of the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. The name for the species thus ought to be Felis catus, since Linnaeus published first, and so almost all biologists use Felis sylvestris for the wild species, using Felis catus only for the domesticated form. In Opinion 2027, published in Volume 60, Part 1 of the Bulletin of Zoological Nomenclature, March 31, 2003, the International Commission on Zoological Nomenclature, quote, conserved the usage of 17 specific names based on wild species, which are predated by or contemporary with those based on domestic forms, end quote, thus confirming Felis sylvestris for the wildcat and Felis sylvestris catus for its domesticated cousin. Felis catus is still valid if the domestic form is considered a separate species. Recent DNA and comparative bone research shows that the separate species name Felis catus is correct after all. The results show little relation to the Felis sylvestris group, with Felis catus being derived from Felis libica 7,000 years ago, when the very first small felines were domesticated in Asia Minor. The following paragraph contains pronunciations to the best of our ability. Johann Christian Polycarp Erxleben named the domestic cat Felis domesticus in his Anfangsgründe der Naturlehre and Systema Reini Animalis of 1777. This name and its variants, Felis catus domesticus and Felis sylvestris domesticus, are often seen, but they are not valid scientific names under the rules of the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. 4.2. Nomenclature. A group of cats is referred to as a clowder. A male cat is called a tom, or a gib if neutered, and a female is called a queen. The male progenitor of a cat, especially a pedigreed cat, is its sire, and its female progenitor is its dam. An immature cat is called a kitten, which is also an alternative name for young rats, rabbits, hedgehogs, beavers, squirrels, and skunks. In medieval Britain, the word kitten was interchangeable with the word catling. A cat whose ancestry is formally registered is called a pedigreed cat, purebred cat, or a show cat, although not all show cats are pedigreed or purebred. In strict terms, a purebred cat is one whose ancestry contains only individuals of the same breed. A pedigreed cat is one whose ancestry is recorded, but may have ancestors of different breeds. Almost exclusively new breeds, cat registries are very strict about which breeds can be mated together. Cats of unrecorded mixed ancestry are referred to as domestic longhairs and domestic shorthairs, or commonly as random bred, moggies, mongrels, mutt cats, or alley cats. The ratio of pedigreed, purebred cats to random bred cats varies from country to country. However, generally speaking, purebreds are less than 10% of the total feline population. The following paragraph contains words pronounced to the best of our ability. The word cat derives from Old English cat, which belongs to a group of related words in European languages, including Welsh cath, Spanish gato, Basque katu, Byzantine Greek kata, Old Irish cat, German katze, and Old Church Slavonic katka. The ultimate source of all these terms is unknown. However, it may be linked to the ancient Nubian kadis and the Berber kadiska. The following paragraph contains words pronounced to the best of our ability. The term puss, as in pussycat or puss in boots, may come from Dutch, from poes, a female cat, or the diminutive poesje, an endearing term for any cat, or from other Germanic languages. Section 5. Importance to humans. Because of their small size, domestic cats pose almost no danger to humans. The main hazard is the possibility of infection, e.g., cat scratch disease, or rarely, rabies, from a cat bite or scratch. Cats can also potentially inflict severe scratches or puncture an eye, though this is quite rare. Dogs have been known to be blinded by cats in fights in which the cat specifically targeted the eyes of the larger animal with some accuracy. Cats can be destructive to ecosystems in which they are not native and whose species have not had time to adapt to their introduction. In some cases, cats have contributed to or caused extinctions. For example, see the case of the Stevens Island wren. 5.1. Cats as pets. In captivity, indoor cats typically live 14 to 20 years, although the oldest known cat lived to age 36. Domestic cats tend to live longer if they are not permitted to go outdoors, reducing the risk of injury from fights or accidents and exposure to diseases, and if they are spayed or neutered. Some such benefits are: neutered male cats cannot develop testicular cancer, spayed female cats cannot develop ovarian cancer, and both have a reduced risk of mammary cancer. 5.1.1. Hygiene. An image captioned, "A tabby cat grooming itself," is provided here. Cats are known for their fastidious cleanliness. They groom themselves by licking their fur, employing their hooked papillae and saliva. Their saliva is a powerful cleaning agent, but it can provoke allergic reactions in humans. Some people who are allergic to cats, typically manifested by hay fever, asthma, or a skin rash, quickly acclimate themselves to a particular animal and live comfortably in the same house with it, while retaining an allergy to cats in general. Many cats also enjoy grooming humans or other cats. Sometimes the act of grooming another cat is initiated as an assertion of superior position in the pecking order of a group, dominance grooming. Some cats occasionally regurgitate hairballs of fur that have collected in their stomachs as a result of their grooming. Long-hair cats are more prone to this than short hairs. Hairballs can be prevented with certain cat foods and remedies that ease elimination of the hair and regular grooming of the coat with a comb or stiff brush. Cats expend nearly as much fluid grooming as they do urinating. Indoor cats are usually provided with a litter box containing litter, typically bentonite, but sometimes other absorbent material such as shredded paper or wood chips, or sometimes sand or similar material. This arrangement serves the same purpose as a toilet for humans. It should be cleaned daily and changed often, depending on the number of cats in a household and the type of litter. If it is not kept clean, a cat may be fastidious enough to find other locations in the house for urination or defecation. This may also happen for other reasons. For instance, if a cat becomes constipated and defecation is uncomfortable, it may associate the discomfort with the litter box and avoid it in favor of another location. A litter box is recommended for indoor-outdoor cats as well. Daily attention to the litter box also serves as a monitor of the cat's health. Numerous variations on litter and litter box design exist, including some which automatically sift the litter after each use. Bentonite or clumping litter is a variation which absorbs urine into clumps, which can be sifted out along with feces, and thus stays cleaner longer with regular sifting, but has sometimes been reported to cause health problems in some cats. Litter boxes may pose a risk of toxoplasmosis transmission to susceptible pregnant women and immunocompromised individuals, although this risk is generally decreased in indoor-only cats which would not normally be exposed to the disease. Transmission risk may be reduced by daily litter box cleaning by someone other than the susceptible individual. An image captioned "toilet-trained cat" is provided here. Some cats can be toilet-trained, eliminating the litter box and its attendant expense and smell. Training involves 2 or 3 weeks of incremental moves, such as moving and elevating the litter box until it is near the toilet. For a short time, an adapter, such as a bowl or small box, may be used to suspend the litter above the toilet bowl. Numerous kits and other aids are marketed to help toilet-train cats. When training is complete, the cat uses the toilet by perching over the bowl. Occasional accidental dunkings, which can traumatize the cat to the point of its avoidance of the toilet, can lead to urinating and defecating in undesirable locations around the house. This can be avoided by use of a simple insert of 1 or 2 crossbars or a widely spaced grid to prevent falling in, but allow feces to pass. Such safety devices have recently become commercially available. Otherwise, if a cat is not trained to use the toilet, it is wise to keep the lid shut to prevent thirsty or curious cats from falling in. 5.1.2 Scratching. An image captioned "Cat scratching wooden post" is provided here. Cats are naturally driven to periodically hook their front claws into suitable surfaces and pull backwards in order to clean the claws and remove the worn outer sheath, as well as exercise and stretch their muscles. This scratching behavior seems enjoyable to the cat, and even declawed cats will go through elaborate scratching routines with every evidence of great satisfaction, despite the total lack of results. Indoor cats benefit from being provided with a scratching post so that they are less likely to use carpet or furniture which they can easily ruin. Commercial scratching posts typically are covered in carpeting or upholstery, but some authorities advise against this practice as not making it clear to the cat which surfaces are permissible and which are not. They suggest using a plain wooden surface or reversing the carpeting on the post so that the rougher texture of the carpet backing is a more attractive alternative to the cat than the floor covering. Some indoor cats, however, especially those that were taken as kittens from feral colonies, may not understand the concept of a scratching post, and as a result, will ignore it. Although scratching can serve cats to keep their claws from growing excessively long, their nails can be trimmed if necessary with a small nail trimmer designed for humans. A small pair of electrician's diagonal cutting pliers, or a guillotine-type cutter specifically designed for animal nail trimming. Care must always be taken to avoid cutting the quick of the claw, analogous to cutting into the tip of a finger and equally painful and bloody. The position of the quick can easily be seen through the translucent nail of a cat with light-colored claws, but not in cats with dark-colored nails, who therefore require careful trimming of only small amounts from the nails.